GoLive Indonesia is happy to be given the opportunity to have a chat with David Parsons, one of GoLive Indonesia founder, who's very enthusiastic about the development of Indonesia in terms of trade and economic integration. Thank you very much for agreeing to this interview.
Thank you, I'm very proud to be here.
At this point, would you be able to explain to us the beginning of GoLive Indonesia, why it's there, why it's a part of something that you're really enthusiastic about? Would you be able to explain how everything started and why it just started?
Well, I think the real issue was that back 4 years ago, I think, when it started, and even before that we were thinking about it, that Indonesia needed to undergo so much change in terms of policy, in terms of its national identity, the way it did things. It was a big challenge, and we were concerned that there wasn't enough contribution to shape those kind of challenges. And it started out with looking at regional economic integration in ASEAN and APEC and so on, and that was the sort of the big issue confronting Ibu Mari as minister at that time. But really, we're still faced with those big issues in Indonesia. What is the shape of change? How do we increase the level of debate? And we figured that if we captured the intellectual horsepower of those students who are engaged in studying in Indonesia and abroad, who are actually working and training to think about the future and plan for the future, if we could capture their thoughts and get them to contribute, then we would have a much better debate. We would have a lot of really good contributions, and we encourage people to voice their aspirations, what they really wanted. And it was meant to be, it wasn't meant to be like a Twitter or Facebook process alone. It was meant to be about thoughtful contributions for change. So that's how it developed, and hopefully those issues are still there. I think what I've noticed is that, and I'm very pleased with the way that the GoLive team in Adelaide has really worked on this. But you've broadened beyond regional economic integration, because that's a bit dry and a bit big, down to some really important issues like agriculture, education issues, a whole lot of very sectoral and specific issues that are quite important for for elements for Indonesia, because you've got a lot of people contributing to those areas out in Australia and around in Indonesia. They're very important areas, and I hope that broadening of the issues continues.
So when you look at GoLive Indonesia was founded in 2011 and now 2015, how would you comment on the development, on that particular development, and also in terms of the next 4 years, how do you hope GoLive Indonesia would, let's say, grow or impact? What kind of impact would you like to see more from GoLive Indonesia towards, let's say, the discussion about Indonesia trade or Indonesia Australia?
I think that we shouldn't assume that any of the policy changes, the political changes, the changes on the ground in Indonesia are easy. I think everyone admits that it's very hard. It's complex, not just because of the politics, but because of the whole range of areas that have to be considered. The social issues, how will things impact people? What's the dividend for people? How do we balance all the interests there in Indonesia? And I think, in my view, that it's very, very important for those who are privileged enough to study overseas, to be part of the policy-making process, those who will hold the future of Indonesia in their hands in the coming years, to actually voice their aspirations. We have and the best and the brightest actually should be part of this whole GoLive Indonesia. You're here studying in Australia and in many other countries in the world. So we need you to put a voice to your aspirations, not to have starchy academic studies all the time, to show how what you're doing has impact on people and on policy and on the national development of Indonesia. So it still goes back to that very important point, that this is an avenue, a very important avenue for young Indonesians who are privileged, as I say, enough to study and who are going to be part of the whole future of Indonesia, to get out there and really not necessarily debate, but to contribute to the discussion, to shaping the future. So in my way of thinking, even though you're doing it over a broader range of areas, those fundamental issues are still there. We've got plenty of Twitter conversations and Facebook conversations of varying levels of quality across the debate in Indonesia, but this should be a little bit more focused.
Okay, so when you look at that, would you be able to shortly, if you wanted to target, you mentioned students before, right? If you were to explain to those students, to them, why should they join, what kind of student would be able to join GoLive Indonesia, how would you explain that, like in terms of encouraging them to join GoLive Indonesia? Why should they take on the role to, let's say, be an ambassador for GoLive Indonesia?
Well, not everyone's going to be able to do a frontline talking about their research and so on. That's not the point. But we hope that you join GoLive Indonesia, the debate or the story around GoLive Indonesia, by contributing through the Twitter processes, through the Facebook processes, actually thinking about the issues. If you're not thinking about the issues, I don't think you're thinking enough about Indonesia at this point. And I know it's very hard to be studying and to do all those other distractions that are there. But I think it's got to be, people have almost not a responsibility, but they can be crafting where they want to be on this process. So even if you're just commenting on someone else's work, do it constructively, do it with some thought behind it, because that's the whole purpose behind it. But contribute and as I said, to make the whole thing go live. This is about going live, so that you're part of something that's actually got life as well. The go live words were sort of a play on words. On one hand, to give life to Indonesia, but on the other hand, to get it out there online and be much more immediate than studies might be. So I would encourage everyone to just contribute, in a very small way, either by commenting or by voicing their concerns about any of it, through Twitter or through the blogs or through any other aspects of it. I think it's very important.
Okay, thank you very much, David. I think that's all the
Thank you.
time we have for this particular chat. We hope to see you more interviews in the future for GoLive
And I
Indonesia.
hope that I can contribute too.
Thank
you very
you.
much. Hi, I'm David Parsons. Maju bersama GoLive Indonesia.